Hello again. In this video I'm gonna speak about the balance between structure and flow or unfoldment in a workshop. I'm sitting outside. You might hear some background noise, some spring birds, some cars, but it's such a nice day, so I wanted to try recording outdoors. So you have decided to offer a workshop. You have marketed it from the heart, from the beginning. You chose a title, you have a place, you have prepared well the space, you came early, you have some flowers, you have a good setup, and you have a topic that engages you, that you find very interesting, and you have some principles and some practices that you love and that you love to share and that you want for the world to experience and to have more of. So you're also landed in presence, you're coming from the right place inside, and you are now starting the workshop. And you have some kind of general idea how you want to run this workshop, while also giving space to be spontaneous, to not follow every plan in detail. So Zen means spontaneous being. I remember I was sitting listening to Thich Nhat Hanh for 2 hours a day in, day out for months, and I was so impressed by his 2-hour Dharma talks or 1.5-hour Dharma talks. Sometimes very simple and clear, direct, sometimes very intricate teachings. It's like, and he never had any notes. I was like, how does he remember everything? And then one day the talk was about giving talks. And in this talk he said, a Dharma talk has to be spontaneous, or it's not a Dharma talk. Then I was like, aha, of course, he does not follow a plan. He is speaking from the moment without a plan. Maybe an intention, maybe some topics he wants to cover, but it's spontaneous. And same with me, I found out early that whatever plan I made, I didn't follow it. And finally I gave up. After many years, okay, drop writing down the plan and trust the flow. Of course, I had some topic and I have experience with structures that work and so on. So I've been talking in earlier videos about how to structure a workshop. It's a bit like a coaching session. You begin with a welcome. Make sure you look each person, if you can, if it's a small group, that you meet each person with a handshake, with a hug, with a hello, looking in the eye, welcome. And you have some time for a little mingle in the beginning. And then you have a clear beginning. Okay, time to sit down, you ring a bell, you sit down, and then you shift the energy, and you are now beginning the formal workshop. So a clear beginning and a clear end is part of the success formula. Because we are creating an energetic container of a special kind. So now there's an airplane here. Okay, we have to live with it. Sorry about that. Something disturbs you, you stop, you take a breath. Okay, I was in a flow, I lost my flow a little bit. Take a little break, no problem. Center myself and begin again. So you can never get lost because you can always begin from this moment. So the beauty of a Zen style workshop is that it has this alive, fresh quality of being spontaneous in the moment, not too rigid, not following exactly notes. There's a certain fluidity to it and ability to respond to different situations, and yet it's held. So it's in a way these two yin and yang aspects, structure and flow. As a workshop leader, I am aware that it is my responsibility from the beginning until the end to hold the container structure, to be clear what we are doing and why we are doing it. And if something happens, there's an interruption of some kind, somebody bursts in, or there's a glass that breaks, or somebody freaks out, then you take care of that. Then you're aware that, okay, some kind of mini emergency or bigger emergency, we take care of it. That's what we do now, conscious choice. Then you also decide what the other people are doing during that emergency. Maybe you say, we take a break, you can go over there, we'll deal with this, then we come back. The container, clear beginning, clear end. This is a talk, this is an exercise, this is a harvesting, this is a questions and answers, this is coaching of participants, this is a group inquiry, the whole field is exploring a topic. This is a playful moment. This is a free space for anything to happen for a while. I know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and I keep a track of time. That is structure, that is container. And it also helps me be clear that I want, within this container, let's say it's 3 hours, I want to cover certain elements of a workshop. Let's say I decided I want to do a guided meditation, plus minus 10 minutes. I want to do a little talk, plus minus 15 minutes. I want to do 2 inquiries of 45 minutes, including harvesting at the end, 2 and 2. I want to have a social break, plus minus 15 minutes. And I want to have a checkout round at the end, check-in round at the beginning, each one 10 minutes. Now I have to double check, does that add up to 3 hours? I didn't note that. Plus minus, okay, I lengthen this, shorten that. And then I make sure that within those 3 hours, I plan for the program to last 2.5 hours. So I have half an hour slack, stretching at least. A general beginner's mistake is trying to do too much. Better to do a little well than to try to do a lot. A workshop does not get better by doing many things. One good inquiry, one good guided meditation, maybe some movement. You want to include movement. So you want to be clear about what components and what order you would like. Do you want to begin with an experience? Do you want to begin with a talk? And there is no right or wrong. Anything can work, but it's about being conscious. Then within that structure, you allow for a lot of unfoldment and flow. So for instance, harvesting. So you've done an inquiry for 45 minutes, you've done some sharing 2 and 2 about the exercise, then you invite everybody into the circle. Let's say you have 20 minutes for harvesting. Harvesting means, what did we learn? What were the most important insights? What did we like? What did we not like? Were we triggered? How? Why? Was there an aha moment? What was most important? What do you want to bring with you from this? What other questions arose in you? How did it impact you? Those are harvesting questions. What did you learn is a very fundamental and important harvesting question. So I have 20 minutes within this structure. I'm holding the structure, relaxed holding. Maybe in the middle of the workshop, I realize, okay, the harvesting became so interesting. I gave it 15 minutes more. I'm gonna cut down on the last inquiry, maybe drop it, do a guided meditation instead. So not be attached to my structure. Now, in the harvesting, gather the people, land in presence together, always invite people to check in what they feel, physical sensations, a moment of silence. Take a breath, not overdo it, because we're going into harvesting. So just a few moments of, and then inviting people to speak. Now my intention is to allow participants to speak. And maybe to mirror, and maybe to add a few comments here and there. And to allow the flow. See what wants to happen in this space. While being aware we are harvesting. So if somebody is emotional, and they need emotional support, and you maybe feel now is a good time to offer a little bit of coaching. A coaching demo can be good for the group. Maybe it wasn't on your plan to do a coaching demo, but you decide to do it. That's okay. But now you're breaking your structure. You're potentially losing a bit the logic of your structure. So is it wise? So while there is an opportunity to give a little coaching, it might take you into a 20-minute coaching in the middle of a harvesting, and people expect harvesting, and suddenly they're sitting listening to a coaching for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And then your expectation management is a bit off, potentially. Of course, this happens with me a lot. Sometimes no worries. However, very good to be conscious about my choice. So following the flow must happen within this framework of me holding structure. And do what I say I will do. So if I say we will harvest and we don't harvest, then people are like, he's not dependable. Can't trust him to do what he says. And there's a disappointment. I wanted to share my experience. There was no time. And there's a feeling the holding is not so professional. The holder is like blown this way and that way by what is going on. So this is where facilitation becomes an art. Because there is no right and wrong, there is no exact point. But it is honoring the structure, knowing what I'm doing, what I'm choosing, and going along with it. So here is one part what I wish to create in this workshop also. I want to create interaction, or I want to create depth through coaching demonstrations. Some workshops I want to have more interaction, other workshops I want to have less interaction. So do it differently in different workshops. Don't always do it the same way. Because if you do coaching demonstrations, you include more depth. If you create more interaction, you create more community. So what are you looking for? Community, depth. If it's presence you want, then maybe guided meditation, breathing, different silence, some movement. Maybe you want playfulness. How much? What kind? Playfulness is good, but there's a balance. Playfulness, depth. Too much playfulness, less depth. No playfulness can get a bit heavy, overly serious. So how to navigate this following my flow and what arises in the space and what wants to happen and holding the structure? It's to recognize that being the facilitator, I am responsible for what kind of workshop this is. Unless the very purpose of the workshop is to co-create an event. Then I say to the group from the beginning, this is my purpose, to see what happens if we co-create it in this way or that way. And then you consciously step out of imposing your structure on the group. Again, no right or wrong. Generally, we are imposing some kind of structure as a facilitator in the living presence style workshops. And it's good to own it. This is the kind of atmosphere and depth and playfulness and interaction and the quality of listening I want to have in this space. That's my intention. Then something else may happen, but that is what I bring into the space. And that is also what attracts people to me, because I bring a certain specific quality, which only I can bring. Only you can bring your specific quality, so to own that. Then that energy meets the energy of the group, which has its own will in a way. And then there's a co-creation in that. And here is attunement to the group, while awareness of your own preference, to own your preference without attachment. It's a very interesting place, that place. To let yourself be impacted, to go with the flow, to dance with the group, and to realize as a leader, you are setting the tone. You are deciding the components. You are navigating. You are the captain of the boat, basically. I like this metaphor of a ship. There is so much similar to life. To be a facilitator, we learn so much about how to relate to life. Because really, facilitation is nothing but how you interact with the energy of others, of the world. All of life, in a way, is a facilitation. That's what I wanted to share today. Thank you so much.